That'll be fun.
We're going to do presentations right after the meeting. It is now 7 o'clock, and we're going to begin the meeting for the Board of Mayor and Aldermen, April 1st, 2013. Tonight, we're going to do things just a little bit different. We've got some presentations, and we have a lot of folks here, so instead of making them sit through the whole meeting, we're going to do our presentations right after the minutes, if that's okay with everybody. And you know, y'all have had a long, hard day at work, so we'll get y'all on out of here. I have the prayer tonight, and Vice Mayor, you have the pledge. So if everyone will please stand. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for this day and the many blessings bestowed upon this great city. Thank you for our sponsors that have shown up here tonight who care for our children and are helping us to build a playground to keep our children safe. Thank you for the men and women that fight for our freedoms every day. Thank you for everyone in the city, our employees, who work hard every day to keep our citizens safe. Please be with us tonight, dear Lord, as we make the very best decisions we can to keep everyone in this city happy, safe, and healthy. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, I hope everyone had the opportunity to read over the minutes for March 4th public hearing and for the regular meeting. Do I have a motion to approve or to deny these minutes? I have a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. See, I'm like a little kid. I have to get to the fun stuff first. Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we have some very special guests with us tonight. As all of you know, we've been working diligently to get our Lake Forest Park up and going. This has been a park that's been promised to the families out in that area for over 20 years. And with a lot of work from Kathy Tyson and Monteque, and I can go on and on and on, with the ones that got together working for grants, getting all this together, that park is going to be made possible. And so tonight, we have some very special presentations that we wanted to share with you. And first of all, I'm just going to go in order. If Griggs and Maloney's representative, Jamie, if you'll come forward, please. Griggs and Maloney has made a gracious donation to help with the park. So we're very, very excited about that. And Griggs and Maloney have always been very, very good at being great sponsors for this city, and we just can't thank them enough. And in sincere appreciation of your support to the city of Laverne and its youngest residents, it is a pleasure to present this Mayor's Community Service Award to Griggs and Maloney for your generous contribution to the playground at Lake Forest, given this first day of April 2014. Thank you very much. And this is another group that's very near and dear to our heart, who's actually been here a lot longer than most of us. If Bridgestone, Laverne plant, please come forward. And they're actually going to make a little presentation to us. We put out a plea, letters, to all the corporations around. And Bridgestone, as usual, stepped up to the plate. And ladies and gentlemen, they've given us a check for $5,000. Thank y'all very much. That brings a tear. Thank you. I get a hug. It is sincere appreciation of your support to the city of Laverne, Tennessee, and its youngest residents. It is a pleasure to present this Mayor's Community Service Award to Bridgestone Laverne Plant for your generous contribution to the playground at Lake Forest Park, given this first day of April 2014. And not only for this, for everything that y'all do for our community. We just want you to know how much we appreciate you. Thank you. We want to hold that check up high. We've got, actually, Bruce grabbed that one. Look, now Phyllis is over here eyeballing. Another great group that's always there when we need them stepped up to the plate once again, and that is Severn Trent Environmental Services. Again, we put out a plea. Severn Trent always steps up to the plate for us, and I think we're actually getting shirts. You're going to do playground shirts. So when we do the We Build that day, the ones that come out, they're going to have shirts on. So we're real excited about that. In sincere appreciation of your support to the City of Laverne, Tennessee, and its youngest residents, it is a pleasure to present this Mayor's Community Service Award to Severn Trent Environmental Services for your generous contribution to the playground at Lake Forest given this first day of April 2014. And again, not only for this, but for everything that y'all have done. You've always stepped up to the plate during old timers and, oh my gosh, the 5K run. And so y'all have always been right there to support us, and we just want you to know how much you're appreciated here.
It's our honor.
Thank you. This is fun. Do I have any of my dispatchers here tonight?
Yes, ma'am.
Come on up, dispatchers. Come on up. Don't stand there and look at me, Andrea. Come on. I'm getting the evil eye. As most of you know, this is National Public Safety Telecommunications Week. And this is two of our dispatchers. They're the backbone behind the emergency. If it weren't for these guys being patient, sitting in their little corner in there, answering those 911 calls and getting it out as quickly as possible. And we just want you to know how much we appreciate the service that you give to the city. And I know sometimes it gets pretty hectic. I've listened to y'all and I'm like, how do you do it? The City of Laverne, Office from the Mayor, proclamation. Whereas the third week in April 2014 has been declared National Public Safety Telecommunicators Week by the Senate and House of Representatives of the United States of America, and whereas the President of the United States will issue a proclamation calling upon the people of the United States to observe that week with appropriate ceremonies and activities, and whereas problems of crime, fire, and other disasters touch and affect all segments of our society, and if unabated can undetermine and erode both moral and economic strengths of our community, and whereas men and women are encouraged in the operation of emergency response systems for the City of Laverne, and whereas these individuals are responsible for responding to telephone calls from the general public for police, fire, and emergency medical assistance, and for dispatching said assistance to help save the lives and properties of our citizens. And whereas our public safety telecommunicators personnel daily serve the public in countless ways without due recognition by the beneficiaries of their services. Now, therefore, I, Cena Mosley, by virtue of the authority vested in me as Mayor of the City of Laverne, Tennessee, do hereby proclaim April 13th through the 19th, 2014 as National Public Safety Telecommunicators Week in the City of Laverne, and urge all citizens to participate in making this week a successful celebration. I have hereunto set my hand on this the first day of April 2014. Thank y'all very much for your service. Thank you. Okay, I'll do
it. There's another thing that goes on this time of year, and since the meeting is before National Telecommunicators Week, the Rutherford County Emergency Communications District each year has a recognition breakfast or luncheon. This year it's a breakfast once again. And on Friday, April the 17th, they will recognize the various emergency services agencies' dispatchers of the year. And this year, we had the peers vote, as we always do. And since the award won't be given by RCECD until that morning, I've got a Chiefs Award of Excellence that I'm presenting to Jamie Harrell. Dispatcher Jamie Harrell has been a wonderful co-worker for all of us, especially those of us in Lavergne's Emergency Services organizations who benefit directly from his warm smile and professional handling of 911 calls and emergency communications. Congratulations on being selected by your peers, Jamie, as Lavergne's Dispatcher of the Year for the Rutherford County Emergency Communications District. We are proud of you. Thank you for answering the call and saying, "Here am I, send me," when the need arose. Given this first day of April in the year of our Lord, 2014. Congratulations. Jamie works midnight shift, and Andrea called him and told him she needed him here about before 7 o'clock. And he had no clue, so good morning.
Thank you. Last but absolutely not least is our Employee of the Month. And this is with much happiness but yet much sadness as we bring this gentleman up. He will be retiring and has worked long and hard for the city. And while we hate to see you go, we just want you to know how much we appreciate you. And we're going to get Mike Lester to please come forward. We got you. He works hard to keep this city clean, and we hate to see you retire, and you can think about it now. You know, that honey-do list is just going to get longer.
We're not giving Mike this because he's retired.
No.
Since the day I've got here, Mike has been non-stop moving. And if I can record Mike and give the tape to the sheriff to show all the new employees, that would be a great example of what we do as much as.
And that's very
So Mike, that award is not because you're
No.
retired, it's because you set a
the
great
work
example.
you've done. But we figured we better get on it and say thank you. You're trying to sneak out on us.
I'm gone.
The City of Lavergne Certificate of Appreciation is hereby granted to Mike Lester for your dedication and hard work for the City of Lavergne. The city hereby recognizes you as Employee of the Month for April 2014 and thanks you for the excellent work you do for this City of Lavergne, given this first day of April 2014. And like Kenneth said, we need to somehow multiply you.
My lovely wife died.
Well, I know she's going to be happy having you hanging around, but we just want you to know that you work hard, and we try to always let our employees know how much we appreciate them. And when they said you were retiring, we're like, say what? And I think Kenneth threatened to lock you in a room, so I'm not sure. But we just want you to know you're very much appreciated here, and wish you all the best in the world, and you can always come back and visit.
Okay. It's not me, it's the whole stormwater department. It's a team effort, it's just not.
Yeah, but I tell you what, it's guys like you, like Kenneth said, getting everybody together, it is teamwork. And but when everybody's working together and making that team, it makes it very special, especially when they count on people like you. So we appreciate you. Now stop that, because I messed up my makeup. Sorry, Miss Sherry. Thank all of you so much for making that a fun part of tonight's meeting. But now, guys, we've got to get down to business. We will start with our departmental reports, and that is fire department.
You're gonna make me come up after that?
I know.
Have mercy. Mayor, Alderman, for the month of March 2014, we had a total of, y'all got me choked up over here now.
I know.
Wow. A total of 114 calls. They consisted of 1 structure fire, 21 fire alarms, 1 vehicle fire, 3 hazardous materials calls, 16 motor vehicle accidents, 52 medical calls, 11 emergency miscellaneous calls, 9 non-emergency miscellaneous calls. The average response time for March 2014 was 3.1 minutes, and the total water consumption for March of 2014 was 27,500 gallons. Any questions? Thank you.
Police.
Mayor, Vice Mayor, or Alderman, we're still having the same issues with our conics that we've had. That's the reason you don't have a report again this month. And I don't know that it will ever be resolved because when they pulled the data, it was worse than it has been. But hopefully we're getting closer and closer. We're moving forward to that day, hopefully, that we can finally flip the switch on the new system. We have a lot of things going on this month. Not only do we have the National Telecommunicators Week coming up April 13th through 19th, where we'll each day do something to recognize our dispatchers and for the things they do for us. I don't think people really realize some of the times what they go through. They're the thin gold line, not the thin blue or the thin red. They're the thin gold line. And they do a lot of things for us behind that microphone that is very difficult for them sometimes because they're on the end of the line hearing and can't see. And sometimes that's more difficult than it is actually being out there in the middle of something. Ours answer almost 30,000 calls for service per year, and that does not include the non-emergency calls where they answer questions and when they're going to turn my electricity back on, my water's not working. They get all kinds of calls, everything in the world, and they do an excellent job, so it's good that we remember them. This is also, once again, I'll remind you, as I did the other night, Autism Awareness Month, and we have some special citizens in this city, and hopefully with our new CAD system we'll be able to add some information into the system that we can actually see whether it's fire or police. Either one, both of us will be able to see some things about that particular person and what we can do to calm things, good points, and the things for us not to do with them. And the other thing is, this is also Child Abuse Awareness Month. And child abuse is an issue here, particularly from the standpoint of neglect and particularly from the standpoint of sexual abuse. We have several cases annually. And Phyllis and I talked about one of the groups that helps them tremendously, and you'll hear more about it later as we discuss the budget, but our Child Advocacy Center, because we have some wonderful people over there that help us tremendously, especially on those child abuse investigations as forensic interviewers, because we have to be so careful of those children and what we ask and how we ask it and et cetera. But if you would, keep all those who are special need, not just those with autism, but those with other needs, those special ones who will be participating in the Rutherford County Special Olympics on the 10th, because we'll have Team LPD there that will be running, and we'll be running with some Murfreesboro SWAT officers, some Rutherford County SO SWAT officers, and then some of our folks from here too. And then we'll have some folks that will be there. Our DARE grade officers will also be over there with our Laverne children who are there participating. So remember those children in your prayers each day. Any questions?
Questions?
I brought this for a reason. I thought I'd come around and test it on all the board maybe, but I was afraid somebody might be packing, and I'd have to say, well, you're gonna have to leave. Bruce asked me a few months ago about what it would cost, and Chief Lowry and Brian Rowland were out in one of the back buildings digging through some boxes, and there were 3 of these that were brand new in the box that we didn't even know were there. Now, I don't know how long they've been there, but the batteries were dated 2005, Keith, is that right? So they've been there a good while, brand new ones that had never been used. So we don't want people to be upset, but periodically we will use this just to make sure that Miss Sherry's not packing when she comes in.
Well, we've actually been needing that down in the courts, so that's been quite handy.
Reserve Lieutenant Boone over there is going to have his own personal special issue. We'll watch him.
Thank you, Chief. Rescue Unit.
Mayor, Alderman. First, I'd like to thank the community for coming out to Logan's to our Raise the Stakes. It was a fantastic turnout. Matter of fact, both of the managers had to go back and cook that night. So it was a good fundraiser for us. We have another fundraiser April the 5th, which will be a craft fair. And then we have the ham breakfast on Saturday, April the 12th. This month's records, we had 0 medical, 29 accidents, 0 water-related, 0 fire, 0 traffic incidents, 1 search, which was looking for the 16-year-old that was missing in Nolensville, and 62 others. 4 business meetings, 4 training events, 8 public relations, and 4 fundraising and maintenance events. And I'd also like to everybody to put the Gene Swafford family in their prayers. Gene passed away this morning. So, any questions?
I do. And I'm doing this, I'm having to ask because this is the only time that we, as a board, can sit together. But I do have a question.
Okay.
I would like to know if someone from the rescue stood up at the TARS and requested that our fire department not become an associate member.
Okay. The question that you're asking, Captain Chris Schmidt got up and told them at this time that we had a contract with the city. Did not go into a lot of great detail about what was going on, but felt that it would be better to come up later. Also, I think it would be better to come up as a full membership and not associate membership. It would save the city a whole lot more money becoming a full active member instead of an associate member. Approximately $110 per person that would be training.
But if we could become an associate, that's also saving in our training.
$50.
But $50 is $50 when you're
I'd
dealing with the grants.
I'd rather you save $110 on training than $50.
Then why wouldn't they mention that in there, that they'd rather we just be a full member instead of turning it?
Because you'd have to go back and put in another application to become a full member. They don't go with associate members to full members.
Okay. So if they go back and ask to be a full member, then that was our problem.
I think that would be where we need to go with this.
Okay, so that would be our problem, so we get that done. Chief Culberson and Chief Clark, whoever, I don't know who does what. So that would be our question, so we.
And if it had come to us first, we would have probably recommended that.
So,
But the only way we knew about it is when we got a letter in the mail.
and, well, that's,
That's the process we went.
Okay.
all right. Thank you for
All
answering my
right.
question.
You're quite welcome.
Codes Department.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Alderman. The monthly report for March 2014 is as follows. Single-family dwellings, there were 8 permits, valuation at $1.6 million. Commercial, there were 2 permits, valuation at roughly $200,000. Miscellaneous permits, there were 3. Signs, there were 5. Grading, there were 2. Others to include additions and remodels, there were 6. 0 mobile homes, commercial plan review 1. Total number of permits were 26 at a value of nearly $2 million. Plumbing permits, there were 9 single-family dwelling, 1 commercial. Mechanical permits, there were 8 single-family, 1 commercial. Tall grass, there was 1 complaint called in. Junk cars in the yard, there were 12, and others to include, there were 57 of those. Building inspections, there were 161, and I want to add and point that out that that's commercial and residential too. So when I give you the number of building inspections that were conducted for the month, keep in mind that that is residential and commercial as well. One inspector does the residential, and another inspector is doing all of our commercial at this time. So the fire inspections for the month of March, there were 25 inspections for the month, 49 year to date. The monthly revenue with impact fees was $19,626.72 total. Total number of single-family permits issued year to date was 14. This time last year it was 15. Total number all year is 73. And I'd like to point out too that on the fire inspection side there were 5,300 sprinklers counted for the month of March, sprinkler heads, and 5 private fire hydrants that were inspected. Anyone with questions? Yes, ma'am. Speedway's going to try to, they're wanting to get their CO tomorrow or the next day, so they've got a few small items to do, but they should be done with that project by, I'd like to see them finished by the end of the week. So.
That sounds good. I know they're working on the roads.
Yes, ma'am. They're making progress.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Excuse me. Parks and Recreation. Now, y'all be patient with AC. You know, he is getting older, and he turned 50 today. So y'all bear with him as he makes it through this stressful time.
Y'all please clap for me, please. You put them away. All right, there you see our numbers for the month. We had 18,915 visitors in the park, and anticipate that number going way up over the next month or two. We had our first lunch to go by our new senior staff back here, and it was a big success, mostly because of my delivery skills. But other than that, we actually did make $382, so that was really good for the senior center. And we're going to have another one coming up here real soon, and it's going to be lasagna, I believe, isn't it, Melissa? Isn't that what you said? We're going to go with lasagna. That's a good one. And so I'll send out an email so everybody knows about it ahead of time. We also, there'll be something. I think banana pudding was a big hit. We could probably work out something. We also had a donations for dogs, which our senior coordinator, Cassidy Ramsey, was able to negotiate a deal for the donations from Save-A-Lot, 200 dogs for free. So all the donations that we got, which was $62 for that day, went back into the seniors fund, to the building fund. So we're pretty happy about that. We got Parks and Rec Advisory Committee coming up on the 21st at 6, Senior Advisory on the 24th at 4. And don't forget about our Easter egg hunt on the 12th. The games will start at 9 and the actual hunt will start at 10, and don't blink or you'll miss it. And then we got April 26th is opening day for ball season. And Chief, if you got another one of them, I need one for the ball part. That's all I got. Any questions?
Thank you, AC.
Yep.
Finance.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Alderman. First of all, I want to apologize. The date on the report should be February, not January. We're 8 months into our fiscal year, and proud to say for the first month in this fiscal year, our general fund revenues have exceeded our expenditures. We are heavy into our property tax collection season, so that's always a good time. Local sales tax, we've collected $3 million year to date. That's about $400,000 better than what we budgeted at this time, and $172,000 better than prior year. For State Street Aid, our expenses have exceeded revenues by approximately $380,000. That's due to some paving that we have done. In our stormwater fund, revenues have exceeded expenses by approximately $269,000. And in our water sewer fund, our revenues have exceeded expenditures by approximately $1,079,000. Second page represents our various bank accounts and the balances in those accounts. And the third page is comparison to prior year. In our general fund, expenses have exceeded the revenues by approximately $1.3 million, and we know that's largely due to the purchase of the fire department. And in our water sewer fund, revenues are up $289,000, and expenses are also up $370,000, and our tap fees are up $4,000. Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Donna, library.
Mayor, Vice Mayor, Aldermen, good evening. For the month of March, there were 7,945 items checked out. The attendance in the library was 8,492, the exact number that we had last year in the month of March. The average was 340. We issued 137 new cards. We had 59 library programs with an attendance of 967, and we had 2,690 total computer users. Some of the highlights for April include National Library Week. The theme this year is Lives Change at Your Library. We will be celebrating National Library Week April 12th through April the 17th. We're going to do a few programs. One of those is How Does Your Garden Grow? On Tuesday, April the 15th at 6 p.m., a representative from Home Depot Garden Center will present a program on spring planting in our Storytime room. And each participant who attends will receive a plant courtesy of Home Depot to take home. We also will be having our very popular Food for Fines. If you have overdue fines, this is the time to come into the library. It would be April the 11th through April the 17th. You can bring canned or boxed food items, and we will waive your overdue fines. We will accept undamaged, unexpired canned or boxed food items, and a donation of one item waives up to $1 for fines. All food items will be donated to the Smyrna Laverne Food Bank. We're going to have our spring book sale. We're able to do these book sales by books that are donated to the library. What happens is you choose your items, you make a donation of your choice, and you take those home and then you enjoy them, and then you bring them back to the library and redonate them, and we'll do it again. Mr. Schaefer, that's our ultimate recycling. This will be Friday, April the 25th from 12 noon to 4 p.m. and Saturday, April the 26th from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Do you have any questions?
Are you going to give us your impression of Pat Benatar? She sang for AC today.
Well, do you really want it? Hit me with your best shot, far away.
I have to say, Miss Donna always puts a smile on our face. Thank you. Okay, Thomas, water treatment. Let's see if you can top that.
Well, not quite that good. Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Alderman. Well, I'll take a second out to wish everyone happy April Fool's Day.
Thank you.
What we have is our plant summary for the month of February this year comparatively to last year. The plant processed about 75 million gallons for the short month, and our membrane unit reclaimed about 5.6 million also, which led to about $10,500 that Metro didn't get in sewer fees. Both sides of the plant are up and running now. Construction's pretty much done. I mean, we went through the walkthrough list, the punch list. I think they've got just about everything picked up. We've got in some machinery yesterday. We're going to do it just one good cleaning from top to bottom. We got a couple lifts rented, just a excellent, clean job. And then we'll invite everyone out for a show to show it off. February was pretty calm. We had 8 quality calls, there were 4 pressure calls, 3 taste and odors, and 1 appearance. Our guys went through 20 hours of safety training in-house this month. Our maintenance, we started the new budget year, it was $6,160 for the month. And we should have all our updates coming with the new maintenance rebates and such following up. And that's basically all I have.
Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Public Works.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Alderman. This is the street department for the month of March. We had a total of 27 requests to come out and pick up brush, and we picked up a total of 465. With that being 34 loads and a little over 84,000 pounds. Almost 500 hours in the workhouse programs. We had a total of 12 man hours in mowing grass. We're fixing to get started on it. Well, matter of fact, we started more today on it. Had 106 work hours, 62 overtime, 31 of that was on call, 25 was for the ice storm we had with the salt. In the fleet department, looks like we had 79 vehicle repairs, 20 in-house and 12 at the Dodge dealer. And then we had a total of 32 oil changes with 10 of those out-house. That's my lady that does this. Out of house, that's what it's supposed to be, but that's all I got.
Thank you.
You had to bring it up, didn't you? Any questions? Stay out.
Thank you, darling.
Thank you.
Michael, utilities.
I can quit being nervous up here because this has been great today. Thank you, Miss Donna.
We expect you to top that next month.
Yes, ma'am, I'll try. For the month of March 2014, pretty productive month. Water department, we had 90 work orders, 13 new meter sets, answered 170 Tennessee 1 calls. Only had 1 main line break and 9 service line breaks. Estimated gallons of water not sold were 15,560 with 64 hours overtime. Project AMR, 870 meters installed this month. Like that number a whole lot. Sewer department, 72 work orders, 44 service call, 28 pump station, 20 hours overtime in the sewer department. Also, we were able to rebuild 11 pumps in-house, so that's good. Was in Atlanta this morning, the Walden Road pump station. We inspected that, went really well. A couple minor things, a light, some paint needs to be touched up, but everything went really good and expected to be delivered Thursday. So
Awesome.
Everything went well with that. And that's all I've got.
That's good news.
Yes, ma'am, very good.
Any questions? Thank you, Michael.
Thank you, ma'am.
And human resources.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Alderman. Here is the report for Human Resources. We had 6 external jobs posted, 237 applicants, total job interest cards 111. There were 0 resignations and 0 terminations. We had 2 workers' compensation claims, 1 liability claim, and then 97 care here appointments, 5 no-show appointments. 307 care here enrollees and 353 lives were covered, dependent lives covered, and employee lives covered 191, dependent claims 650, employee claims 641, for a total claim dollar amount of $238,347. Are there any questions?
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Moving right along to old business, we have second reading, ordinance 2014-03, an ordinance to amend Title 3, Chapter 6, Section 3-602 of the Vergne Municipal Code regarding traffic school fees. This is the second reading. We've discussed this. Motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Consent agenda items, we again discussed these at great length. Do I have a motion to approve or to deny?
Motion to approve.
We have a motion to approve. I have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. New business, motion to appoint or remove board members. Local Emergency Planning Committee, that is a sort, and we will be adding Adam Rose.
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve Adam, do I have a second?
Second.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Next, we do have 2 vacancies on the stormwater, and I do have one applicant, Miss Lori O'Neill. I did speak with her, and I'd like to nominate Miss Lori O'Neill for the Stormwater Advisory.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Next, ladies and gentlemen, prior to the first reading of this ordinance, we do have a video that I would like for this council and for the citizens. I would like for y'all to see this video regarding the sprinklers in our municipal code. So if y'all will just bear with us as we get that video, and please pay very close attention to this. I think it's very, very good information.
Orange County Fire Authority had a unique opportunity to show the effectiveness of residential sprinklers at a Tustin Air Station. We took 2 buildings that were fire loaded the same, which means the combustible material inside the buildings were as close to identical as possible. The only difference between the 2 was one was equipped with fire sprinklers while the other was not.
This room is furnished to represent a typical bedroom. There are pictures on the wall, drapes covering the windows, a bed with pillows and blankets, as well as other items. The fire is started in a trash can. As the fire grows, it starts to make a run up the drapes. It takes just 60 seconds to activate the smoke alarm down the hall. As the temperature rises and the toxic smoke becomes dense, your chance of survival decreases by the second. The temperature in the room has risen so fast that your next breath would sear the lining of your lungs if the toxic smoke hasn't already taken your life. Listen closely. You can hear the hallway smoke alarm melting as the fire, radiant heat, and smoke spread throughout the rest of the structure. This time, smoke and flames attract neighbors' attention.
Fire emergency. I'm walking by residents at 6830 Super Stallion, and there's fire and smoke actually coming out of an upstairs window.
Once the 911 call has been received, it will take approximately 6 minutes until the first unit arrives on scene.
Orange County Fire Engine 222. We have a six-plex, 2-story residence, well involved, unit on the second floor. Start second alarm.
Local Region 222, copy your request for a second alarm, 6-plex well involved, battalion fire.
It is now 13.5 minutes into the burn, and the entire room is engulfed in flames. As firefighters enter the structure, they must first extinguish fire that has spread throughout the building, and then make their way towards the point of origin. In this room, the smoke alarm was placed in the bedroom and activates 10 seconds after ignition. In the previous burn, the smoke alarm was located in the hallway and took approximately a minute to activate. We see the same fire behavior displayed as before as it rises from the trash can and continues to grow and become hotter. As it grows and consumes the combustibles on the wall, the fire begins to roll across the ceiling. The sprinkler then activates, cooling down the room, and within minutes puts out the fire. Keep in mind, in the previous burn, the fire department didn't even arrive until 6 minutes after the 911 call.
Common sense would tell you that sprinklers are a good thing, but I had no idea of how dramatic sprinklers can be in actually putting out fires without the presence of firefighters.
On the non-sprinklered side, there was total devastation. The only thing that remained was the frame of the bed and wire hangers in the closet where the clothes once hung.
The fire gutted the entire room. When you looked at the damage throughout the rest of the structure, what I thought was interesting was there was still a substantial amount of damage, but there was no what we call fire loading in the rest of the building, which would mean furniture and other combustibles. So it completely destroyed that entire room.
In fire prevention, what really surprised us was the temperature. And not the temperature at the ceiling, which we expected to rise quickly, but how quickly the temperature rose at the lower levels. Within 2 minutes, it was over 200 degrees, which made it an untenable space. On the sprinkler side, it was a completely different story. As the fire moved up the walls and started lapping at the ceiling, the sprinkler activated and extinguished the fire within a very short period of time.
You had a little bit of scorching on the wall, some damage to the container where the origin of the fire was in the trash can, and a little bit of water, and that was pretty much it.
There's no question that fire sprinklers save lives. There's no question that they work. The reason why you don't hear about it is that it is a non-news event, in that nobody dies, seldom is there an injury, and there's very little property damage. We'll respond units. By the time we get there, we cancel the rest of the units as a small mop-up operation, and that's all that's done.
I understand that developers, people who build homes and apartments in commercial buildings, have a lot of heartburn over sprinklers because they do add cost, they add expense to construction. But I would suggest to you that any developer, any builder who actually sees a demonstration, a real-life demonstration of what sprinklers do will change their mind rather quickly.
What really convinced me was how quickly the sprinklers attacked the fire, how quickly the temperatures dropped, and it would have given, I think, any occupant a reasonable opportunity to get out.
This is one of those add-ons that is just a kind of a no-brainer, it seems to me. Yeah, you're going to pay another, $1,500, $2,000, $2,500 in the price of your home for sprinklers, but look what you get for it. I mean, people are paying far more than that kind of money for some ridiculous cosmetic improvements in their homes, and they pay it willingly.
People see fire sprinklers portrayed differently in the Hollywood through movies. For example, you might see the prankster that takes a match and lights off a sprinkler head, and then the whole building, all the sprinklers start spraying water, and that just doesn't happen. It's just the one sprinkler head over the fire, and as the fire grows, there may be a few other sprinkler heads that activate, but you don't have the deluge throughout the entire structure like they portray in the movies.
Residential fires are not only dangerous to civilians, but to firefighters as well.
When you see what it is that firefighters have to do and the risks they have to place themselves to fight a fire that otherwise would have been out before they even arrived, I mean, it's just, it's frightening. It's so dangerous, and this eliminates the danger, eliminates it.
The advantage to having a residential sprinkler system installed is that's basically like having a full-time firefighter 24/7 on duty right there in every single room of your house, ready to activate at any given moment, and they will have that fire extinguished before the fire department even arrives.
I think if city councils had an opportunity to see the demonstration that I saw, and if OCFA could present information on the actual cost, that I believe that the majority of councils would be convinced that their residents would be protected by residential fire sprinklers at a minimal cost.
A month after this demonstration, Orange County experienced 2 similar residential fires, both starting in the kitchen. During the first fire, a young female teenager was taking an afternoon nap while the fire advanced through the house and took her life. 2 weeks later, a 6-month-old baby girl was left unattended in a high chair when a fire ignited. As the fire grew, fire sprinklers activated, sparing the child's life.
Here we live in one of the most technologically advanced nations in the world, and yet we're allowing people to die in residence because of no sprinklers. I mean, every fire that I've gone to where there's been a fatality, had there been fire sprinklers there, not only would the damage been minimized, but a person would be alive to tell about that.
Any developer, any builder who actually sees a demonstration, a real-life demonstration of what sprinklers do will change their mind rather quickly. You cannot put a price on life.
Very good video. Thank y'all for sharing. Now we'll move to first reading, ordinance 2014-05, an ordinance to amend Title 7 and Title 12 of the Laverne Municipal Code by adopting the following standard codes: 2012 International Fire Code with the opt-in. Do I need to make that motion, or how do I need to do
The section that actually deals with the fire systems is in the residential code. If you want to go ahead and read through these codes,
And then go back.
we'll need to have a motion to amend the ordinance,
Okay.
and then a motion to accept the ordinance as amended. So,
All right, here we go through all of these. Standard codes: 2012 International Fire Code, 2012 International Building Code, 2012 International Plumbing Code, 2012 International Fuel Gas Code, 2009 International Energy Conservation Code, 2012 International Mechanical Code, 2012 International Residential Code, 2012 International Property Maintenance Code, 2012 International Existing Building Code, 2012 International Private Sewage Disposal Code, 2012 International Swimming Pool and Spa Code, 2009 ICC A 117.1-209 Accessible and Usable Buildings and Facilities Code, and the 2008 National Electrical Code.
Could you read that again?
in the ordinance itself, on page 11 of the ordinance, section number 15 deals with the 1- and 2-family dwellings automatic fire systems. The ordinance currently deletes that section. So if you want to have fire sprinklers, a motion would be made to strike that paragraph 15 out of that section.
I will make a motion to do what Bruce said.
And I will second that. We'll do a roll call. Alderman Green.
Aye.
Vice Mayor. Alderman Waldron.
Aye.
Alderman Broker.
Aye.
And I vote aye. So now we need to turn around and make the motion to adopt with the sprinkler.
As amended, yes.
Okay. I'll make that motion to adopt our codes as amended, and that is adding the sprinklers in, just so I'm not confusing anybody. So that is my motion.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Alderman Green.
Aye.
Vice Mayor. Alderman Waldron.
Aye.
Alderman Broker.
Aye.
And I vote aye. It passed. Yes.
You're right. I spoke with a lot of higher-ups in the state fire service, and they wanted me to pass along a message to this board that they, hats off to the city of Laverne for taking that stand. I only presented this as it was with the deleting out of that residential sprinkler system, as that's what's been done across the state. There's only been a handful of jurisdictions that have chosen to go with residential sprinklers. Like the video shows, I'm a great, big, huge fan of those sprinkler systems. It will save a life somewhere down the road, and you will be thanked for it when that occurs. But just to pass along a note or two from some of the folks in the State Fire Service was at the hats off, and a few of those folks were residents of Rutherford County, and they applaud you for going out there and doing such.
And I want to make this known. This is for new building. This is not an ordinance for people who own homes and that are already built, have to go put a sprinkler system in. So let's make that clear. This is for new building that will be going on if it passes second reading, so you're still looking at another month, but that is for new building only. So
We will have to rewrite the local sprinkler ordinance that we do have, according to Tennessee Code Annotated 68-120-101, which I believe, if you'll look, that Tennessee Code Annotated is what we currently have in our existing sprinkler ordinance. That ordinance will have to be rewritten for the simple fact that is it prevents someone like myself to bring before you a code adoption with this provision of residential sprinklers. I could slip it in under you. Let's just take that as a hypothetical. It requires you as a board to rewrite that local sprinkler ordinance with that included, so that no one can come down the road and say, well, we weren't aware, we weren't made aware. It has to be in that local ordinance, Tennessee Code Annotated, and I guess, Evan, if you'll research that as well to make sure that we're correct on these numbers on that Tennessee Code Annotated. I'll send you an email first thing tomorrow so that we can get that written and after second reading. I plan to put this into effect July 1. Any residential permits that come before me as of July 1 will be required to have that residential sprinkler provision included. That'll get every opportunity for anyone to, make that necessary arrangement and to get these code books in-house with that requirement.
I plan on my house being retrofitted with one within the next year.
If y'all give me a raise, I'm gonna retrofit mine. Any other questions?
do not give my husband any ideas. Thank you.
Thank y'all. Thank you very much.
Number 8, first reading, ordinance 2014-06, an ordinance to amend 2013-2014 fiscal year general fund budget.
Motion to approve.
Have a motion to approve and a second. We went over that in great detail. Do I have any questions? All those in favor? Aye. Aye. Motion carries. First reading, ordinance 2014-07, an ordinance to amend the 2013-2014 fiscal year state street aid budget.
Motion to approve.
I have a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second. Again, we went over this in great detail. Do I have any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Resolution 2014-13, a resolution to write off water department bad debts.
Motion to approve.
I have a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Let's clarify that these are just getting sent,
To collections. Absolutely. Thank
not
you.
being wrote completely off.
No, they do go to collections. All right. Did we vote? Yeah, we voted. Okay.
We did.
Long day. All right, Mayor and Alderman comments. Alderman Green.
I don't have anything.
All right. Vice Mayor.
Nothing.
No. Alderman Walker.
Nothing. No, ma'am.
Wow. Well, let me, real quick, we do need to send out congratulations to Club Knockout. They have 2 young men that have the junior, one of them is Ricky Starks. He's a 15-year-old. He's the junior Golden Globe champion. Did I say that right? Golden Glove? What did I say? Golden Glove champ in the 112-pound class. And then we have Ryan Waldrop, who is the open division mid-10 Golden Gloves champion in the 152-pound class, and this is his second year in a row. So these guys will be going to the Southern Regional Golden Glove in Arkansas in April. So if anybody's got any, like to wish them luck or send a little donation their way, They're going for that championship, and if they win there, they'll be going to the Nationals, I believe, out in Las Vegas.
Wow.
So that is huge for this group of young men. So if you see them or anyone that's working with them, Keith McKnight, I think, yes, so they definitely need sponsors. So get out there and help these young kids. And with that being said, everybody enjoy the beautiful weather, and thank you for being here tonight. I call this meeting adjourned.